G'day guys, Jordan Biggie Steffens here. It has been a massive year. We've just been back to back with shows and events and world record stuff later this year. So I've been a little bit tardy on getting these videos out here for YouTube. So thought I'd just drop a quick line and cover a base that I get asked a lot in interviews and stuff that I do. And you always get asked who's your top 3, 5, 1 of sports, and I guess, watching like the Undertaker's podcast at the moment, he always gets asked what's his Mount Rushmore. So his four top performers, and always people ask me like, who's your number one strongman in the world? Like, who do you think the best of all time is in strongman? And that covers so many different facets, so many different things in life, so many different events, so many different shows. So I wanted to just do a quick video on my top 4, my Mount Rushmore of strongman. And I look through all the decades, all the generations. For those who know me, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to sort of history and strength in history. And I like to look back through time. I've watched all the world's strongest men from back from the 70s, from when Paul Anderson was the referee, and through that period of time to now. And I guess if we're going to look for the Mount Rushmore of strongmen, we kind of want to look through the modern era. So from the start of World's Strongest Man onwards, because you can go back through time and look through the circus strongmen, and maybe I'll do a Mount Rushmore of circus strongmen as well. The guys I've seen and respected through that, obviously being a circus performer myself, respect and just unbelievably impressed by the circus strongmen of the late 1800s, 1900s, and even previous of that. So I guess number one in the current era of strongmen, I guess my Mount Rushmore and the top athlete of all time is, in my eyes, is Adrunas. So dominant over so many different federations, so many different eras almost. He came through, competed against Marius, Brian, Thor, Ed. He's competed against all these good guys and beaten them. He's had world records in so many different events in regards to yokes and farmers and deadlifts, and everyone always puts Adrunas down as a static monster, which he is an absolute monster aesthetically, but he has just got so many other levels to him as an athlete over time. And as a powerlifter coming in strongman, he was just an unbelievable athlete coming in, like I said, so statically strong, but could tick all the boxes in moving events and carrying events, and just was so dominant through his career and competed against all the greats and beat most of them. I guess I have to start off with Adrunas, just for one, longevity, winning titles everywhere, all around the world, different federations, IFSA, World's Strongest Man. Obviously, unlike Marius, who has won the most World's Strongest Man competitions, and again, another guy that I'm sure people would put into their Mount Rushmores, Adrunas has just done it everywhere, and just was, I think, just the most... probably the most really well-rounded through every type of competition, and for a guy that was almost 180 kilos was absolutely unbelievable. So Adrunas right at the top. I guess coming down from there, I'd probably put someone like Magnusson, probably the gentleman who came into strongman and was one of the first guys to really use strongman equipment from the guys in the past. Your Bill Kazmaier, Jeff Capes, and Lars Hedlunds, and Don Reinhardts, and Bruce Wilhelms, and stuff like that, who came from sporting backgrounds into strongman, but they didn't really train sort of strongman stuff. They were, NFL players, linebackers, whatever they were, they just did that. So when they came into strongman, they weren't really training the equipment. Magnus Ver and Helti Arnesen in Iceland were the guys who really did powerlifting in one part of the year, and then came through into strongman and Highland Games in the other parts of the year. So those Magnus Ver is someone who is just so in touch with what was needing to do to build to become better. He was at real start of the generation of guys who started to train with equipment and build through the equipment phases, but also have on and off seasons from one to another. And then he just became obviously one of the greats of all time, and still very relevant in sports today, refereeing and timekeeping and that. And he was dominant over many different federations. Not the biggest guy in the world by any stature, but just an unbelievable strongman for his time, and just so clinical, so smart. I think a real game changer. And if it wasn't for Magnus Ver, I don't think strongman would be the way it is now, thanks to all the things he basically put into place. Now, in saying that, the next gentleman I believe has actually taken what Magnus did to the next level, and that's Brian Shaw. So intelligent, so smart, so science-based with his training, his ability as just an absolute giant, over 6'8", over 200 kilos, 440 pounds in the old money. What can you say? He's won it all. Worlds, IFSA, Arnold's, he's won it all. There's just nothing that Brian hasn't done. And legitimately could go down as one of the strongest men in history, Brian. So, I think definitely up there in your top 4 of all time. I don't think there's too many people that could really say Brian didn't deserve that spot as one of the best of all time. Like I said, just a game changer. What Magnus did with building equipment into training, Brian has taken the science of that to the next level and just made himself just an absolutely unbelievable athlete, coming from the basketball background, just an athlete, and then just became just the consummate professional, just unbelievable. So many records, so many events, so many wins for just such a giant man, just unbelievable. And still, like I said, very relevant in today, running so many events around the world. He has to be on that list. And the last one, as I'm doing Mount Rushmore, I'm only going for 4, not 5. Look, for me, this is my thing. So there's so many guys that could be put in this. And I guess, guys, if you're watching this, chuck in the comment section below your top 4, your Mount Rushmores. Let us know who you think are the top 4 strongmen of all time. But I guess for my last spot, I have to give it to something or someone who was very, beneficial for me or helped me a lot when I used to watch World's Strongest Man when I was younger, is John Paul Sigmarsson. John Paul really took the sport to that entertainment factor. Circus Strongman was done as entertainment, years and years, 100 years ago, late 1800s, early 1900s. It was focused on performing to a crowd, and John Paul really brought that into World's Strongest Man, and the way he performed, the way he did shows, the way he presented himself. Big, good-looking guy, in shape. He just looked like a strongman, but he looked like a Viking warrior. He literally looked like he jumped off a longboat and was competing. So John Paul, again, just has to be in that spot. World's Strongest Man, winner multiple times, champion around the world, a game changer for strongman in that period of time. Just an absolute leader ahead of his time, like very much ahead of his time in strongman. So, John Paul, passing away so young is devastating. So many strongmen do the trip to Iceland to see his headstone. And it's, a very special moment for strength athletes to go there and pay their respects to someone. And I think that's kind of, the legacy is left for guys and girls to follow, of having fun, doing the sport, and being entertaining while you do it. And I think John Paul definitely deserves that 3rd spot. So I guess there it is. Zydrunas, Magnus Ver, Brian Shaw, John Paul. But think about the names you can still put in there. Jeff Capes, Bill Kazmaier, Gary Taylor, Jamie Reeves, Manfred Herbal, go to today, Marius. Marius is a hard one for me to keep out. Like, seriously, the Dominator. Like, he's such a hard one to keep out. Just so dominant for the period of time he was in there. Mitchell Hooper's on his way. Like, he's not too far off being there. Thor Bjornsson, Ed Hall, Terry Hollins. The list goes on and on and on. Gerd Badenhorst. I might need to do one on the best guys who haven't won World's Strongest Man. That's going to be my next one. Best or Mount Rushmore of the 4 guys who never won World's Strongest Man. That's going to be my next one. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I said, chuck your top Mount Rushmore, your top 4 in the comment section below, or shoot me a private message, whatever you want. Like I said, we're going to do another one. The life as a drug-free athlete, that'll start coming back in through again. Like I said, it's just been so busy with events and shows. Like I said, I've been lazy or missing out, unfortunately, on doing these, but I love doing these. Like I said, Mount Rushmore of professional modern-day strongmen. So enjoy, guys. Like I said, shoot us through who your favourites are, and shoot us through if there's anything you'd like me to bring up in regards to my life as a drug-free athlete. Always happy to talk about those things. But plenty more videos to come. Looking forward to seeing you all soon. Train well, stay strong, stay safe. See ya.